You
So,
want this hose to be exactly this size.
well, you want it just, you know, close enough that it's good enough to like just tape it sealed, because this needs to be a you know, a closed chamber that just reaches over the edge, and that was what we were talking about earlier. You'll see like there's this kind of even ridge on there. It needs to have a little bit of tension so that you know you blow in and it pushes just over at all sides. It's you know it's definitely a process of going back and forth and you know getting the tension just right and making goofy noises.
So with these balloons, it was hard to just take a normal balloon and stretch it over because there was no elasticity to it without splitting it right away. So we blew them up for a little bit of stretch, and I wasn't supposed to pop it, but you'd cut the top off, stretch it over the top.
Nice.
They usually work really well.
Yeah.
I did it 4 times. It didn't pop. You got to get it nice and taut right over the top, and it takes a little bit of pressure and really watching so it doesn't break, and sliding it right over the top. Or before that, drilling a hole. We made our holes really nice and snug against it, but what I would suggest, if your holes are a little bit bigger, to fill it in with hot glue, some sort of silly putty, or giving it a real good tape. But you're going to be losing a lot of air if that seal isn't really nice and closed.
Is that medical tubing?
That is just a plastic 1/4 inch in diameter tubing from the local Frager's True Value, and making sure that that's pressed right up against the bottom of the balloon, and then taping it off, and really making sure, because it wants to slide up and down, that your distance is proper, and taping it right away. Oops.
So it's necessary to have the holes in the PVC.
Oh, my holes.
No, we just kind of play.
So you put holes in it so you can change the
Well, we were
Oh, I
trying.
see.
It seems like it's losing a lot of air, so maybe if we were to bring it up a little bit higher than the pitch, we're trying to make it a flute and mess around with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for this
Concert
action,
series to
we're
come.
going to be. So for this action, we're going to be just throwing some tape over it, and now we have bitonal Orca horns.
So that's kind of a creepy sound. Or I guess if you wanted to have like a barge or something, you could just imagine what this could remind people of. For this one, it's kind of like the creepy noises that go along with like the sort of dead slave drivers who are beating the drum. And
So it sounds kind of like the sound of the Tibetan Buddhist monk.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That horn.
The Tibetan Death March, I think, got tossed
It's
around.
that big horn that they blow into.
Right. So here's an
Maybe that's to shake up our idea of death. It's like the blessing.
that he's
so
got?
here's an
Rubber?
unfinished one, just with the balloon on the bottom. We'll slip that.
It's just a balloon.
And making sure it's resting on the bottom.
So
Not
the
to,
bottom of the pipe has to be cut really perfectly.
well,
even.
not necessarily, because
I think that's great.
it does need to touch. Like, these aren't perfect, that's what I'm saying. But because the balloon gives you some forgiveness.
Some play, yeah.
Some play. And then taping that off, sticking it in.
And where do you stick it in?
I can
I
hold.
think you can probably experiment
No,
with any.
it really doesn't matter. It can go as far
Yeah.
or as back as possible.
Does that make a difference in sound?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And
Yeah,
you can
because
test
it's
it.
just a matter, like we said, of just filling this chamber with enough air that it pushes over the edge.
Yeah.
You know? And you like you were sort of arriving at. You could do this like concept could be applied to like any kind of pipe that you're comfortable like blowing into or whatever. I want to like hollow out some bamboo and try this with different kinds of bottles. So yeah, that's kind of like the basic idea. So the chamber, the bladder, and the tube. You know?
For sound.
Oh, on the
Yeah.
side? Yeah, you can use some contacts in there. Might be a little bit more than you need.
And then one other thing that we've been doing that didn't mention is this PVC, as we cut it with the saw, it has some rough edges. So we were just kind of like whittling so that it has
you,
because it's vibrating so much on the top there. It doesn't take. Yeah.
well, we didn't have sandpaper, so what Ken did was just take it against the edge of the counter. Just,
Yeah. It's kind of a back and forth. You gotta just like you feel out. Sometimes the razor blade is good. Sometimes it's a balance.
yeah, trying to take a little bit of the edge off of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right. So we've got most of these built, but this could be if folks are feeling up to it. We've got a couple that we could still
Finish
do
up.
if people wanted to get it under their hands. Folks are interested in that process. So
Do you have this on a website or something that we can?
good question.